Hi everyone, it's Clara with Card Stamping with Clara. Hope you'll be able to join me today. We're going to approach making cards just a little bit different than we have in the past. And this is going to be called the Painted Christmas Card. And that's because I used all of the same paper, which is from the Painted Christmas pack. I might mention to you, I've got a host code. If you need to purchase something before the celebration is over, please use that if you purchase under $150 worth. And if you need more than that, by all means, take advantage of those stamping dollars. They are nice to get some extra product. The celebration is going to be over pretty soon. It'll be at the end of September. So don't miss out on the free items because they won't be back for a while. And of course they'll be different next time too. But they do that twice a year now is my understanding. So let's get started and let me show you what I'm going to make today. And let's see if we can have a little fun making cards. This is the card that I'm going to make. It's wishing you a Merry Christmas. And like I said, the paper is from the Painted Christmas pack. This is Evening Evergreen, and I have used a embossing folder, the Parisian Flourish embossing folder. And as you can see, we've got some bling and some ribbon, and on the inside it says sending love and peace this season. So this is the card we're going to make. And all of these products, or all of these cards, are going to be made using some of these products. The bundle that we're going to be focusing on today is this Christmas Seasons bundle. And on different cards, I use different things. But you can see it's a lovely set for Christmas time. It's got pine cones and all kinds of greenery, all kinds of foliage, holly and holly birds, balls, berries, holly berries. It'll come out here in a minute and what have you, but that's the stamp set, and it is a photopolymer stamp set. And with that comes the seasonal label dies. And for this card today that we're making, we're going to use this die right here. And as you can see, there's a label die, there's something to cut out your pine cones and your holly and your greenery. And then look at all this, all these beautiful label dies on the back in this set. So it's got lots and lots of pretty things that you can use. And along with that, I'm using my Old Faithful. This is what I call my layer in circles framelits. And I'll be using one of these with the scalloped edge, the one that just fits over the sentiment, just barely goes over it, so you'll know which one to use. I'm using the Wishing You a Merry Christmas from the Frosted Gingerbread set. We've used this one before, and I've also videoed this one, Peaceful Dear, and that's where the sending love and peace this season comes from. So you can put any kind of sentiment on that you want to. But those were some that I liked, and so that's what I used. I wanted to show you today how many different kinds of cards you could make and how many different kinds of looks that you could get using pretty much the same paper. So that's the objective today, is not only to use that one bundle, which you can get for 10% off when you buy both the stamps and the dies. They'll give you 10% off. But I wanted you to be able to see that there's a variety of things. There's just an endless variety of things that you can do with the same kind of paper. So this is the next one. I used the same sentiment. This is Evening Evergreen, just like I used on the first one. But this has got a banner. And then I put some greenery, and I put the pine cones, and I layered it over a solid sheet of this Painted Christmas. And then the inside has got the same sentiment. All of these will have the same sentiment on the inside, and each time you'll see that the border color, which is Evening Evergreen in this case, will coordinate with the one on the front. So I try to make things look consistent. This one is a great way to use up some little scraps. Look at these tiny little banners or little strips of the paper. These are just a 1/2 inch wide, and I spaced them over a 2-inch banner and then cut it at the bottom, as you can see. And isn't that pretty how it turned out, letting that red shine through, and then using the pretty real red label and the Merry Christmas, and then more greenery and a pretty little white bow on this one. So that looks entirely different than the first two that we've looked at. This one, I pulled the bells out of that frosted gingerbread set and stamped those and put those on a red banner. And this scalloped edge did come from the hand-pinned bundle. So if you wonder where that came from, that's where. And I put some holly and some more greenery and some little pine cones peeking out there, and put that the Real Red Mini ruffled ribbon. That's 3/8 inches wide, and did the same thing on the inside as the other cards. This one, this banner came from this same set, this bundle that we're talking about today, the seasonal labels. And I actually split this up the middle, and I decided that it looked better to put some greenery here. So, you could just use a solid sheet. There's really no point in splitting it like I did if you're going to cover it up. So, I put some little silver gems on it, and this one says the same thing, but it looks very different. This one looks like I've banged it against something. There's a little dark spot. I'll erase that off. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. And this is still using that same sentiment and the same banner. And this time I took a piece of basic white and embossed it, and then had a 1/2 sheet turned, from corner to corner. And I thought that putting this over the seam gave it a nice appearance, so that's what I did on that one. This one, you probably remember this border that I used. I think it was maybe 2 videos ago, not really sure, but I had this one left. This is the one that was giving me a little trouble getting cut out, but I got it cut out and I'm using it. And that's what you do. When you have something extra, you save it for another card. And I thought, well, how pretty that would look around this painted Christmas with these berries and what have you. So this one, I cut out the scalloped circle and the smooth circle on this one. Same sentiment, but it still gives it a little bit different look. This one, it was a card that just kept building. Let me just put it that way. I started out by using the 1/2 inch strips of the painted Christmas paper, and they run vertically. And the way that I got them so even is I just took one of the strips, and as I glued down the next one, I just laid it up against it. I didn't glue it down, but I was just careful and laid it up against it as a border. And that just made the best way to get all of them even all the way across. And I didn't have to measure anything. I just used the strip of paper that I had cut to a 1/2 inch. And let's see, this came from the frosted gingerbread bundle and the bells. And I used some of those pretty little red rhinestone jewels that are so great for Christmas. And I had some Merry Christmas labels left from another project, so it was perfect match, and so I used that one on this card. And the last card has got more the green look. It's got the evening evergreen, it's got the soft succulent, and I kind of highlighted that Merry Christmas with that little label in behind, and then I just used little pearls to put across there. And I thought that made this card pretty too. So, yeah, it was really kind of fun to make these and see how many different things that I could come up with. And I actually surprised myself that I was able to do that. So let's get this card put together. And I know everybody's busy and got things to do. So I'm going to lay my little gems out here. And as always, we're starting with a 5.5 inch width card base by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And per usual, this real red piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and the white piece, the basic white, is 3 3/4 by 5. So that's what we put on the inside most every time. For the outside now, let me show you how I did this front panel. Well, I'll mention first the next layer that will go on the card is another sheet of real red that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then this is the panel that's going to go on top of that. These panels, each one of them, what I did was I took a lightweight piece of cardstock that I had, very lightweight, and you could do the same. And what I did was I put, I cut it to 3 3/4 wide by 5. And then I embossed an entire piece of this and saved half of it. So this piece is cut down to 3 3/4, and then this is 2 1/2. And then the Painted Christmas is also 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. So these are exactly the same size to fit on the front panel. And I just glued them down onto this lightweight piece because it's just a lot easier to lay one piece down, and we're going to also put a ribbon around it, which is going to make a difference there. You can't wrap the ribbon around the back if you glue it straight onto your red cardstock. So what you want to do is find you something that's really lightweight, because the different layers will add up after a while. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to put this ribbon on the front of the card. And like I said, it is the real red mini ribbon, ruffled mini ribbon, and it's 3/8 of an inch wide. And I cut a strip that was about 6 inches long for this. And for this one, I'm going to put a little, I'm going to try to anyway. Well, that's not going to work this time. Apparently, I'm out of tape and didn't realize it. Okay, what you can do, and what I will do today, since I don't have an extra tape runner ready, I'm going to use a couple of glue dots, if I haven't lost those. Oh, I thought I had everything out here. Just a second, I'm sorry. Sometimes, oh, there they are. I was overlooking them. All right. What we'll do is we'll just put a couple of glue dots with the Pick-a tool, and I'm going to put it right there over that center. I'm going to pull this over, make sure you can see it. Over that center seam. And you don't have to have too many, but in this case, because the ribbon is narrow, I am going to put a few across there. And this is a good indication of how you can change up things if you need to at the last minute. Sometimes just fixing things can be make the difference in how something's going to go. All right, here we go then. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to stretch it out straight over that. And that's going to hold it just fine. And we'll just put a couple of glue dots on the back and we'll be good to go. Just like if we'd had the tape runner. Actually, this might work better. I saw a lady last night doing this very thing. And she was approaching putting ribbon on in different ways. So, all right. You lay this over. And then you just wrap it around the back so that it will be secure, and you'll be ready to glue these two pieces together. And that will hold your ribbon right there just as well as anything else. So no problem there. Now we're going to take this piece and put it onto the real red cardstock. Get a little glue here. I have to be careful. This is a brand new bottle, and if I'm not careful, I'll be squeezing too hard and it'll be coming out all over the place. Okay. Whoops. I didn't get that grasp good, did I? Well, it's okay. Well, let me get that picked up better this time. My hand slipped, I guess. Let me see. All right. I think that embossing folder is makes such a pretty design. It's not especially designed for Christmas, but I think it looks pretty even for Christmas. And the only thing you might be aware of when you put this into the embossing folder and run it through your die machine, spritz it a little bit with water before you run it through your die cutting machine, just lightly. And it just makes the paper give the cardstock, I shouldn't call it paper, it's just cardstock. But it will it enables the cardstock to give enough that it just makes a pretty deep embossed image, and it just works better. Once I found out that was a good practice, I do it on all mine. Okay, now we've got the basic front here, and everything's pressed down good, I think. Now then, this is the label from the seasonal label dies. This one right here. And of course you can see this is one of the little scalloped ones. And when you're trying to determine which one it is, as you can see, just the one that clears the writing. You know, you just want it near the edge. But of course, you don't want any of your sentiment cut off. All right, I'm going to put a little glue on the back of this. And place it on the label. Okay. I'm going to try to get this straight and centered at the same time. I'm not quite there yet. I have to hold it out from me like I need to extend my arms or something to make sure that it's where I want it. But what I was trying to do was center it from side to side, from top to bottom, and get the writing straight at the same time. I hope I'm there. I think I am. Okay, for this one, we're going to turn it over. Slide that over. And I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. Let me cover up this glue before I don't need it now. We're going to put some dimensionals. And the reason I'm especially putting dimensionals on this one is because I'm going to lay this sentiment, as you can see on the first one. I don't know if it's in the camera or not, but it's over the ribbon and over the embossing. And it's a little bit more forgiving if you use these than if you try to just glue it down to a surface that part of it is flat and part of it is embossed, and then you got the ribbon underneath to boot. So, you know, all those things will make your label look kind of wonky if you don't use these. But it does help to put these little dimensionals on the back. Take off the backs of these. Well, they're sticking to me everywhere today. Okay. All right. And as I said in my directions that I wrote up, I'm going to place this with about 1/3 of it below the ribbon and about 2/3 of it above the ribbon. And I'm going to try to get this even again to where it's nice and readable. Now then, you've got a place to put your little bow. And as far as tying the bows go, I've got a little peg gadget that I use because my hands are not particularly agile as they used to be, and I've got a little carpal tunnel in my left hand that needs to be corrected surgically. But with all this COVID that has been out there, I've been kind of reluctant to go try to have it done, and anything that's elective they won't do anyway. So I don't try to tie ribbons on video right now. You don't need me being so clumsy. It takes me a few minutes, and there's a lot of people that you can watch that would, that would give you a good instruction, a good tutorial. Let me put it that way, a good tutorial on tying ribbons. Some people do it with what they call bunny ears and, just different things. So, okay. I'm going to put my bow right there. And then I'll lift this up a little bit. That makes it look a little fuller. And I am going to put a glue dot underneath here and then trim this off just a little bit. I think I'll trim it first. Looks like it's going to be a little bit long. You can always trim a little extra off, but sometimes if you trim a little too much, it's not going to go back, is it? So, anyway. Okay. You see how putting a glue dot, now this is great for, it's fine for this ruffled ribbon. If you have a real sheer ribbon, you're probably not going to want to use a glue dot. You may want to approach it a little different. But something that's thick enough that, it's not going to show that glue dot underneath, it works real nice. Okay. I don't like a flat bow, as you can see. Now then, I'm going to take a couple of these little gems. Woo! That one went flying. Everything needs a little sparkle at Christmas, right? Okay. And one more. Let's just put him down there. All right. And we're done. It didn't take too long once you get everything cut out. And that's how I put it together. And it's not, none of these cards are particularly hard. But it's a lot of different options. And this is not the only piece of pretty paper in that set. There's some really, really pretty paper. There's let's see if I can reach over here and show you a couple of the sheets. There's another sheet. And on the back of that one, we've got something that looks like ornaments. And this one's got pine cones. That's real pretty. And I'm fumbling around here trying to get this. And this one's got kind of a chevron, I guess, appearance. Isn't this pretty? I love this sheet. And then you got some green on the back. And here's another one that's real pretty. And that really light on the back. So there's lots of pieces. That's not all of them, I don't believe. There's probably another one, but that's the ones that are within my reach. I didn't plan to show you those, but you know, it's nice to know what they look like. I don't think sometimes that the catalog really does the paper justice. I really don't, because sometimes I won't order something and then I see somebody on a video make it and I think, whoa, that's a lot prettier than I thought it was going to be. So it didn't always show up as pretty as it is. Okay, if you would please push that subscribe button. I believe I forgot to ask you to do that a few minutes ago. And if you don't mind, share this video with somebody that you think might enjoy it. That way they can get my videos and maybe enjoy making a card too. I guess that's it for today. I thank you very much for your time. And don't forget that Celebration is going to be over real soon. And the catalogs and everything are on my webpage at cardstampingwithclara.com. And you can, you know, take a look through the catalog and what have you. Go to their website, Stampin' Up's website. My website is linked to the main store, which is, you know, Stampin' Up, and so you can go straight there and look at anything you want to. All right, thank you again, and have a great rest of your week, and I'll be back real soon with some more cards. Thank you for watching.